Hello and welcome to Spiritually Fine Tuned. It is time for us to fine tune your energy today. This reading is for Virgo. Today is February 20th. I haven't did you guys in a while. Couldn't read you guys. I couldn't read you guys. But since the full moon just came, I felt I should start my reading with Virgos. And when I was shuffling I was doing the butterfly cards, and I didn't even notice that the full book was in there. For life changes, I was like, they need the full book. It was a joke I was saying to myself, that you guys need the full book. But no, nevertheless, you guys had a lot of cards come out. So it's good and bad, but I'm going to read it the way I feel it. All things work, but remember, all things work together for the good of those that love the Lord. And sometimes we don't like to see the things that are not, I was about to say gracious to our eyes. We don't like the things that are not good, but we have to go through it and we have to accept it because it's part of our growth. And some people don't like to grow, but it's necessary in life. And I mean, you have a beautiful outcome nonetheless. So I'll just read. You have facade. You just had a lot of cards. Facade, coming apart, encouragement. And the way I put the cards in the way they should be read. So basically, whatever facade you were living in is falling apart. And during this time, you may need encouragement. But it's also said whatever encouragement you were getting probably wasn't the best encouragement, which created a facade. And that needs to come apart in order for you to grow. So whichever way you feel it is the way you need to receive it. And you have details, perfect timing, and destiny. So basically at this point you need to pay attention to the details, because whatever situation caused this coming apart was a facade. It probably didn't have to come apart, but it needed to, because it was a facade. And that could have been somebody that you didn't know. It could be somebody that you do know. It could be somebody you didn't know too well, causing you to see things as a facade, and that is falling apart, and you need encouragement because you probably were so lost in it, or it probably caused you to come apart with something that was important. Maybe you lost your job because somebody told you that job is not for you, or a coworker lied or said some things which was a facade and caused you to come apart. Nevertheless, you have encouragement. Spirit is encouraging you, but what they want you to do is pay attention to the details, pay attention to who you're speaking to, pay attention to what you're speaking about. It's the perfect time for you to pay attention to everything that's going on around you, because destiny is calling you. But in this destiny is called about a person who wanted something to stay together, but it wasn't time, and Spirit told them to let it go. And once they let it go, Spirit brought it back because they learned the lesson. So you had to come apart and get out of this facade so you could come back, and you could come back 10 times stronger. Now, you also had insecurity. So whatever happened over this full moon cycle, it caused some insecurity within you. Or maybe this facade caused some insecurity within you. And maybe you were using it for encouragement, and now you're alone, and now you have to deal with those insecurities. And but it also says grief work, which is about a person dealing with their grief. This card is read two ways. Either you're dealing with grief or you're counseling somebody else that's dealing with grief. But once you break through your own insecurities, because you have some insecurities about maybe the way you speak, or maybe the way you handle things, or just insecurities about yourself, but it's causing you to have to deal with your own inner turmoil, which indeed would allow you to be able to accept others more willingly and accept their turmoil. You have seeking and finding, and coming upon seeking and finding is self-care. So the seeking and finding is like, how do I go from this grief, insecurity, these emotions, and find a way to deal with it so that I'm not negligently affecting myself? Because sometimes if we don't deal with our insecurities, or our burdens, or our brokenness, we will become things that we don't want to, and it will reflect in our conversation how we feel about ourselves, or it will reflect in our dealings whether we've been taking care of ourselves or not. So I always tell people that self-care is not about just making sure you look good, making sure you feel good, making sure you have everything you need. It's about that mental self. What is your mind telling you? What are your thought patterns like? It's like that heart space. What does your heart say? Do you even know your heart? This person has their heart like blocked, and the enemy is right there allowing it to stay blocked. So self-care is mind, body, heart, and soul. It's not just the physical man, it's the spiritual man. So it's about taking care of your spiritual self. And whatever you're going through is going to ultimately lead to you realizing what the ultimate self-care is, which is caring of the soul, caring of the heart. So you also have cleaning house, reward yourself, and play. So when I was reading this, it was saying until you clean house and go from this insecurity and figure out the self-care, which you probably the self that's not dominant to you. Like you probably have one part of yourself that you know, I can handle this part of myself, but I can't handle this part of myself. Maybe I can handle my mental self, but I can't handle my spiritual self. Or maybe I can handle my emotions, but I can't handle my thought patterns. Whatever it is, until you clean that house, you're not going to be able to really reward yourself or play. It's like, if you see it, and I didn't even know that it was, if you see it's like going up this ladder. See that? Like you're slowly climbing somewhere that's going to lead to rewards and for you to play. My stomach was growling. I hope nobody heard that. And the song I heard was Say Something, I'm Giving Up on You. It's like, say something. You might be wanting somebody to say something, you're giving up on them, or somebody around you is like, say something to me because I'm giving up on you. I'm starting not to believe in you, or you're starting not to believe in something else. But nevertheless, it's like climbing this ladder and finally getting up to say, you know what? I've done enough self-care. I've cleaned. I've took care of everything that I need to take care of. And now it's time for me to reward myself and play. But it's like you have to take those steps, Virgo. It's like you're probably understanding that you need to take those steps, or you're not aware because you're over here in the insecurity state, and it's slowly getting there. It's not saying that you're stuck there. It's like you're taking these steps, and I want to let you know that I encourage you if you need encouragement. And also, the steps of a good man are ordered, so there's nothing to fear. Like I said from the beginning, it might be some things that you don't like about it, which is the details, but the good and the bad work together for the good of those that love the Lord. So if you love the Lord, I believe you love the Lord. I wouldn't understand why. That means it's working for your good no matter what. You're climbing these steps, and it might be hard, but you can climb on one step. And oh, look at that. It say take the next step now. Look at that. Take the next step now. I didn't even remember that card that came out. But take the next step now. And this card is the ocean saying spending time in the water soothes one's soul. For you, I feel like you don't want to get in touch with your spiritual self for whatever reason. But it's something that's valuable to you. Your soul is more valuable than anything. It said, what does it profit a man to gain the whole world and lose his own soul? Through all of this facade and coming apart and having too many people. Look at this. This is like too many people. That's grandpa. That's the son. Let's see who these people is. Just two females there. And then it's just too many people have created things in you. Maybe insecurities, maybe the way they spoke to you, maybe the stuff they said, maybe all of that was distorted. But they're saying take the next step now, get in touch with your soul and get a soul cleansing however you have to. And once you've done that, you can focus on service, because our mission here is to serve. Serve the Lord. Is to let our works be seen so that man may glorify our Father which art in heaven. That's what the Bible says. You should be servicing God so people can see that God is real through you. And then you have Cupid next to faith. I felt like if you have faith, you'll still receive the love that you are looking for, even if this has fallen apart. And even if you want destiny, you want that person that fits you, that gets you, that black and white, that chariot energy, that balance energy. It's going to come to pass if you have faith. The love is right there. God is saying have faith and trust in my love. Cupid, you know, that's like a spiritual love. If that's what you want to embody, if that's what you want your soulmate, you have to have faith, because it's going to come. But you have to realize while you're here, you have to do what you're supposed to be doing. It says your soul desires only to joyfully serve. And you might not know that because you're not in touch with your soul. That's what your soul is causing you to want to, trying to get you to see. And then you have flying. Once you realize that, you'll be able to fly. This card is about realizing that you have enough in you to fly. It's a colorful horse. You have enough color, enough glow, enough shine to fly alone. You don't have to take anybody else's shine. You don't have to, not that you do, but you don't have to do anything but you. You might not, and the way you see it may not be the way anybody else sees it, but understand that is those are your wings. Your wings are not going to look like anybody else's wing, and nobody may not understand why your wings are colorful and theirs are just what? Black and white. Maybe you have a lot of color within you, a lot of pizzazz in you, but you shouldn't doubt yourself for having it. Let that part of you fly. Let the spiritual part of you fly, because sometimes we're afraid of our soul because it knows things that the mind can't grasp. And remember, the mind is just the ego. You don't need an ego at this time. You need to fly and let your soul break free. People going to be like, who are you? And you're like, I'm the new. I don't want to say. I'm the new. You know, and you're flying your own plane. You're leading your own self to destiny. It's the perfect time. But while you're doing that, just make sure you pay attention to the details. And if you see this person gets flying, they don't have anybody in their ear. They don't have anybody telling them anything. They're just flying according to God's will for their life. When you get in touch with God, He'll tell you His will. He'll show you how to do things. And over here we have the moonlight. Speaking of getting in touch, the moonlight is about the secrets. Getting in touch with yourself, your higher self, and understanding who you are, why you are here. And if you see this lady is vulnerable, it's like allowing your vulnerability to lead you, because their vulnerability is how God connects. God connects to us through our emotions and vulnerability. But if we don't have that and we're standoffish because we're insecure, how do we expect God to come in? Sometimes we want people to come in, and this is even for myself. Sometimes we want people to come in, but we haven't even allowed God to come in. So God is like, how do you want me to send people or things your way, and you won't even let me in? So it's about facing those insecurities, dealing with that grief that's on the inside of you, and seeking and finding your higher. I think Scorpio had that last time I did a reading for them. They were seeking and finding their higher self, but you're seeking and finding like your soul's purpose, your soul's work, so you can focus on service. But nevertheless, if you see this, and I didn't intentionally set it up like this, it's like this ladder, and now that I'm seeing it's like climbing these steps. What you're doing is climbing these steps, and once you take those steps, it looks like it's going to lead to this place of surrender, this place of peace. Look at that. That's I can't go too close. That's that look like the little sand thing, you know, when they have the timer on it, like, and you have perfect timing up here. It's like it's time now to get in touch with that vulnerability and let your soul fly high no matter what. What's Jim Jones? We fly high, no lie. You know this. Ballin'. I was listening to that the other day. So you're getting ready to fly at the end of this. Once you walk up these steps of this ladder and you go where you need to go, you're going to look out on the edge and you're going to say, God, I think I can fly now. It's like you're getting your wings. I'll say it that way. You're getting your wings, but you're taking steps to get your wings. You're not just going to shop for wings. Some people go find wings. Some people pluck wings. Some people are born with wings. You're finding your wings. Should I have said that? I have no idea if I should have said that. It's like A Star is Born, like that movie, A Star is Born. It's like it's always been there, but you didn't know because you didn't get in touch with your soul. But once you start cleaning up, you had nothing left. It kind of exposed you to your insecurities and your weak spots and your grief and your vulnerability. And you're like, I think I can reward myself. I think I can play now. I think I can fly. I think I can be free. So you're finding your wings through all of this, coming apart, getting rid of that facade, dealing with those insecurities. It looks like, oh my gosh, it's just a lot. Like I said, the whole book was in my hand and I had no knowledge of it being in my hand, and I was just shuffling, and it's like, do they need the whole book? But it was saying you're opening the book of your own life, or you're starting the book of your own life, or you're getting a new book. Whatever book, well, we know the only book is the Bible, but whatever book you were reading, which wasn't for you, or writing, which wasn't of you because it was coming from other people, you're getting an opportunity to write your own book. You know how you can tell a story of your own life instead of having narrators to your story. You're like, this is my story. You know what? They was messing with that lady. You don't know my story. Yeah, they was messing with that lady. So you're getting to write your own book and speak your own story, but also you're finding your wings. Point blank in the period. And you're getting ready to fly high. But understand, it's a step. Every little step I take is a step-by-step procedure. If you follow the steps, you'll end up flying. If you don't follow the steps, you're going to end up falling, because along the way, as you climb these steps, you learn different things about insecurities, about grief work, about self-care, which is of the mind, body, and soul. You learn how to properly clean your house, which your home is your body, it's yourself, it's who you are, but it's also your surrounding and your space. You're learning all those things through these steps, and if you have faith, the love that you want to encounter or the love that you want to give, point blank in the period, you'll be able to do so at the end of this. I don't want to say at the end of this journey because it really never ends, but at the end of this cycle, this is just your steps. And if you don't try to rush through it and you take your time and realize what's going on and pay attention to the book and the codes and the details, you'll be able to fly at the end. At the end of it all, you flying high. And once you spread those wings, nobody can stop you. That's how I feel. I'll be ready to fly. Once I spread my wings, I'll be like, la, 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 la. Nobody can stop you. But anyway, you're getting ready to fly high. But just take the steps. Like the caution symbol, it say, watch your step. You know, when they had water on the floor, they had a yellow, they say, watch your step. That's why God wants you to take your steps. Because, I mean, it's like, and you have water here, it's like it's I won't say it's watery around you. That means it's an emotional, touchy-feely thing. So you have to watch your step. You have to take the steps, but you have to watch them. You have to pay attention to those details. Anyway, Virgo, that's what I have for you. What was the song? Say something, I'm giving up on you. Tell me you'll fly. Tell me you'll fly. You know what? Show me how you fly. That's what I'll say. I want to see you fly.